Today we're going to look into building a rain barrel for your landscape. Rain barrels collect and store rainwater from your rooftop. This water is perfect for use in your landscape and ornamental garden. Rain barrels also play a small part in reducing groundwater and surface water contamination by decreasing the amount of stormwater runoff that leaves your property. When you're looking for a rain barrel, you want to make sure you find one that's food grade and didn't store any harsh chemicals. They often can be found upcycled at feed stores, hardware stores, or used online marketplaces. Let's build a rain barrel using tools that can be found at a local hardware store. First, we're going to start with the construction of the inflow assembly. This is where the water enters your barrel from your downspout. First, you're going to need a drill with a drill bit, a jigsaw with a blade, a small piece of sandpaper, some markers, tin snips, aluminum screen, and most barrels come with this insert at the bottom, and if they don't, you can use hardware cloth instead.
Hold that up.
Now we're going to cut the plastic insert for the inflow assembly. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but I use a compass I built with a screw and a spatula with holes drilled in it. These holes are for the marker to fit through. So I just center my screw on the center of the plastic insert and then feed this through, and then I can use that to guide the marker and make a perfect circle. I'll use the same process on the aluminum screen. The screen's a little harder to do, so if you want, you can just keep it flat and trace the mark from the inside. And the screen doesn't have to be perfect, it'll be fitting under the loop inside the lid. Next, we'll want to cut this screen to fit. You'll use your tin snips for that. Next, you'll cut your plastic insert along this line. You can use your tin snips for that as well. Alrighty, and again, if your rain barrel doesn't come with this insert, you can use hardware cloth instead. It's just to support the screen once you put the lid on. Alrighty, next we'll adjust the inflow assembly and modify it so that it can fit the screen and the insert. The reason we want to modify this and place an insert in here is so that the rainwater can enter the barrel and the screen will catch any debris coming off of your rooftop and keep mosquitoes from coming in to lay eggs. First, we're going to use the inside of this barrel lid to cut a hole for the screen to fit into. So what I'm going to do is drill a hole on the inside of this lip here and then feed the jigsaw through the hole and cut along this guide, this indentation that's already in here. When you make that drill, make sure it's on the inside of that guideline so that you don't have a drill hole on the outside of where you're cutting. When you use a jigsaw, make sure that you let the blade do the work and don't force it. Also, make sure you have some kind of eye protection. The last thing you want to do is use your sandpaper to rough off any of these edges that are here. All right, now that we're finished with all the pieces, we can assemble. You'll fit the insert with the hole in it inside first, then the plastic support piece, and then the aluminum screen on top of that. Finally, you'll put the lid on and twist it into place. This is what it looks like fully assembled. Now we'll move on to the outflow assembly. This is how you'll get water out of your barrel. The tools you'll need to build the outflow assembly are a drill, sandpaper, Teflon tape, a spigot, a hole saw. This fits inside the drill and will cut the hole for the bulkhead assembly, and the bulkhead assembly. This is a two-piece part with a washer on the inside that will seal against the barrel and prevent any leaks. First, we're going to cut the hole for the bulkhead assembly in the barrel. You want to use the hole saw and the drill for this. Put your hole as far to the bottom as you can so that all the water inside this barrel can drain out. I usually look for seams on the barrel so that I know I have a nice straight spot to start with. Next, you'll use your sandpaper to get all the plastic burrs off of this so that you can create a seal with the bulkhead fitting. Now we have to put the bulkhead fitting in. When you put this in, make sure the gasket is on the inside so that when it pushes against the barrel, it creates a good seal. These are often reverse threaded, so in this situation, it's going to be lefty-tighty. For these, you don't want to go much tighter than hand tight, or it'll push that gasket out of place and you won't create a good seal. This is here to support the spigot. Next, we'll put the spigot in. To create a good seal around the spigot and the bulkhead fitting, you want to put Teflon tape on the brass threads. When you wrap Teflon tape on threads, you always want to go from left to right. If you go the other way, as you twist it in, it'll back the Teflon tape off of the threads. Now to complete this, you just twist it right in. Again, hand tight is all you need. Now we finished the outflow assembly, we're going to move on to the overflow assembly. Alright, let's talk about the tools that we need to build the overflow assembly. You'll need a drill with a larger size hole saw, sandpaper, Teflon tape, a handsaw, PVC glue, a tape measure, 2 wrenches. I use strap wrenches because they don't bite into the plastic, a hose clamp, a male threaded PVC piece, female threaded PVC piece, an O-ring for this piece, 2 PVC elbows, a flathead screwdriver, a small piece of aluminum screen, and 1 large piece of PVC. First, we're going to drill the hole in the side of the barrel for the threaded PVC piece to fit out of. You want to make sure you drill your hole on a flush side. This angle will make it hard for the elbows in the PVC to line up correctly. Next, we'll use the sandpaper to clean up any of these edges. The important thing is to make sure there's no plastic burrs on the inside to keep the O-ring from sealing. Next, we'll assemble this PVC piece. You want to make sure, just like the bulkhead fitting, that the O-ring piece is on the inside of the barrel. Then you'll place this threaded piece like this, sandwiching the barrel. Before we assemble this the rest of the way, we're going to measure down into this and cut a piece of PVC to fit. Measure up to the shoulder so that you have room for the water. (26 3/4 inches). This edge doesn't need to be sanded, but you need to make sure all the PVC pieces are off. Next, we'll cut some smaller pieces to connect the elbows to the fitting, and then another elbow on the outside of the barrel. If this is in here, the distance we want is from the edge of this to the inside of the fitting is going to be about 4 or 5 inches. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now we're going to want a piece that comes out of here and then aims down once it connects to the elbow. So we really just want to cut a piece that can fit between these two pieces. I line them up and then just eyeball it. Alrighty, now that we have all of our PVC pieces together, we need a dry fit to make sure we've done it correctly. This isn't the final connection, we just want to make sure we did this right. Alrighty, looks good. With PVC glue, since it's a rain barrel, you don't have to be too careful. If you were plumbing, you would actually prime this first. But in this situation, all we need to do is glue the pieces. Before we put all this together, we're going to place our mosquito screen on the end. I use a hose clamp and a small piece of the aluminum screen. Then just make sure it's snug, but not too tight where it'll cut the screen. Last thing we want to do is, depending on the fitting that you want to have some kind of lubricant or Teflon tape on these threads so you can get it snug with the wrench. Remember, when you put Teflon tape on, you want to move from left to right. And one last thing to check before you assemble it is to make sure that the O-ring is going to be on the inside of the barrel. Pull it as tight as you can by hand. You can see there's still a little play. I like to use a strap wrench because a regular wrench might put indentations on this plastic. So I pull it tight, hold this, all right. After it's snug, you just place these pieces together. It can be dry fitted. There's not going to be any leaks on the outside, so you don't have to glue this. The benefit of dry fitting the outside is that you can take this apart and change it around if you need to. And lastly, once this starts overflowing, instead of this aiming down and pulling up around the base of the barrel, you can use a downspout deflector. It'll hit that and go out into your landscape. Alrighty, now we have the completed barrel. So we have the inflow assembly with the screen, the overflow assembly, and the outflow assembly, which is a spigot that can connect to your hose. All together, you could probably get this, depending on where you get the material, between $50 and $100. So hopefully this covers the basics on how to build a rain barrel, and if you want to go into any more details, please reach out to your local IFAS Extension office.